I don't know, gang. I think y'all might get your wish on Akademiks making it to the hospital this year.
This thing between what happened between y'all and Ja Rule, and in this 4-minute clip that I watched, y'all just basically just ad-libbed each other. That's not good podcasting. Y'all need to add a third person who's gonna, ask questions, because what I realize is Yayo isn't a natural podcaster.
Akademiks was on his live stream last night giving a very nasty critique of Yayo and Murda's brand new podcast amid the situation that happened with Ja Rule on the airplane, right? But it comes off like he's trying to sun them. Like he's giving some type of advice on podcasting to these guys, and it seems like he's trying to herb them up. He's trying to say they need a white guy in between them to make the podcast better. This is getting crazy. All the G-Unit soldiers gonna have to step up to the plate soon, champ. I don't know, gang. We gonna find out. I need y'all to hit the like button and hit the hype button, cause we about to get deep.
Sipping slow, yakking the act, thinking I'm the
Oh, champ. Run up these likes. Make sure you hit the hype button because it helps the channel in a major way. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Akademiks might be in a world of trouble after giving a very disrespectful critique of Yayo and Uncle Murda's podcast that just dropped. He's trying to make it seem like these guys need to basically be babysat. Like they need to be handheld during their podcast. He wants their podcast to be the same as everybody else's. He doesn't like the difference. He doesn't like something new. And I think he might pay the ultimate price for it. Look here, gang. You gotta hit the like and hit the hype button. We're gonna jump into this content, y'all. Let's do it.
This thing between what happened between y'all and Ja Rule, and in this 4-minute clip that I watched, y'all just basically just ad-libbed each other. That's not good podcasting. Y'all need to add a third person who's gonna, ask questions, because what I realize is Yayo isn't a natural podcaster. See, Mano's like he used to do, or he does the he's Angela Yee's bitch on lip service or whatever. So he knows how to lead conversation a little bit. But here's the big problem with this podcast, and I hate
this already comes off as, look here, little guy, let me show you something. Something about this seems very egocentric. There's an ego here. The liquid courage is starting to take form. Yeah, the Tito's, the Henny, whatever he was sipping last night, it's beginning to take its course. It's beginning to get him in his very egocentric stage, champ. Now he feels the need to say, hey, little guy, let me show y'all how it's done. Yeah, y'all got a podcast, but I'm about to show y'all that, hey, this could be way better. Let me give you some critique. Nobody asked you for a critique, number one. Number two, why everybody podcast gotta be a certain way? Why can't people just have their own thing? Right? Like, it comes off very nose in the air, pretentious. I don't like the energy that you're bringing. And you're calling Mano out of his name, right? For whatever reason. So we already know what type of energy you bring in. You think you better than niggas. You think you are better than these Negroes, champ. That's the problem. But let's continue. Oh, champ.
I hate to do podcasts like, critique, but come on. I've been here. You and Uncle Murda need either like a white dude in the middle, just somebody to organize conversations. And the reason why I'm saying that, I'm comparing it to your Vlad.
Why you gotta be white? Listen, I'm not even someone who's big on race. I don't care about race too much. But why? Why must he be those things? Is it a necessity for him to be white? Why do they have to have a third person? They don't have to have anything. You know that, right? Like, you are the guru of a successful pod. Champ, let's be clear here. You are a streamer. Okay? Yeah, you do interviews sometimes. Yes, a stream can also be deemed a podcast. But I don't think you're one of the top of the top. There's people who get way more views than you, who are bigger than you, who are older than you, who have more of an audience than you. All right, your chat niggas are not gonna be here forever, man. A lot of them are getting older. All right, there's only so much more of your, nasty content and behavior that's gonna actually land. You dig what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. You're on a time clock. I ain't gonna lie. And you also don't have the best background, especially after the situation that happened early last year where you were talking to a 15-year-old boy in a very nasty manner on Discord. Yeah, we must bring these things up, right? So you really ain't the messenger here. And you don't have the message either. You know how they say, right message, wrong person? This is the wrong message and it's from the wrong person. Yeah, very rare that you see such sightings, right? But let's continue.
Content. Your Vlad content is amazing. You know why it's amazing? And this is why Vlad gets such a big head. Because Vlad gets to throw questions at you that brings out the best answers in you. Trust me, I'm not lying. Vlad throws questions in you that allows you to lean into your personality and brings out the best answers and the best reactions. Watching this 4-minute clip when y'all had the opportunity to drop 50. That's what you're supposed to do. No pun intended. But you're supposed to drop 50. On talking about this on your platform, y'all ad-libbed it and y'all dropped the ball. I would more rather listen to Yayo on Vlad talking about this than Yayo and Uncle Murda on their own podcast, and it shouldn't be that.
First off, Vlad's doing strictly interviews. That's number one. You acting like Vlad is a podcast. Now, can an interview be done on a podcast? Sure. We only know Vlad to be doing interviews, shit. What are you talking about? And again, who are you to be the expert of what someone's podcast should be? You saying the podcast should be a certain way. Who are you to say that the podcast should be a certain way? What's a perfect podcast? You ain't the best podcast in the world. Champ, if we go look through a top 10, top 50 best podcasts, you're not popping up there. Respectfully, you're not. So who in the world told you that you was lit like that? Your numbers do not reflect upon your so-called expertise on this subject. Yeah, you just get drunk a lot and you talk a lot. And you get yourselves in situations that may potentially put you upstairs. Yeah, like this situation right here. You're talking kind of crazy. You got your nose in the air. You wilding out a bit. You call Mano out. You talking crazy. And you're not going to back it up. And again, you might end up in another situation where you potentially get slapped like old boy slapped you. And then you want to blame it on two other people who didn't even do anything to you physically. Yeah, you're a weirdo, you're a bozo. But hey, you live in your delusional world if you want to. We're gonna keep this thing going.
So my advice to them would be, until y'all get that voice as a lead broadcaster, you might need somebody to hit you with them questions. And that's the underrated thing about Vlad people don't realize. All that shit that people kick at Vlad like, oh, he asked Fed questions. Well, him asking formal questions, not like you gonna call it Fed, but formal questions, gets the best out of the interviewee. Because when you leave niggas to their own devices where they're just ad-libbing, they take 4 minutes, say nothing, and we get nothing. Nothing is clippable. We're just moving on. Y'all not gonna agree with me, because I get it. Oh, accident. But trust me. Look, I'm telling you, I watched this, I'm like, look.
I ain't gonna lie. Listen, Vlad makes great content. I won't knock that. But you are like naturally boiling his frank. Yeah, you're bubbling his frank as if it's in a pot, but unfortunately it's in your mouth, champ. Yeah. You're frank bubbling, champ. That's what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah, you're doing a natural, non-stove boiling of Vlad's frank. Yeah. Yeah, champ, that's what it looks like to me. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe y'all feel the same way. Y'all let me know in the comment section if I'm wild, okay? But let's proceed.
Look, just listen to them.
What's up, fellas? Like, hey, how you doing, fellas?
I mean, yo, listen, for me,
fuck out of here,
They're
man.
talking over each other, like they're ad-libbing each other.
Why you talking to me, bro? That's why I just like, nigga, what the fuck?
What's wrong with talking over each other? They do this on drink. So this is how drink champs kinda is. This is a Drinks Champs type of vibe. This bozo doesn't know what he's talking about. Nori and DJ FM, and they doing they thing on Drink Champs, right? That's a podcast, by the way, yeah, on Drink Champs, because they really there for like a little minute and what have you, whatever. I guess you could say Vlad's a podcaster, basically, nowadays. Bro, they all talking over each other to some extent. Not that it's disruptive of the conversation, because a lot of people have complained about Nori and him talking too much or whatever. But I don't see this as problematic. You're not from the town. This is town things. Me and Stino do this, or me and Stino did this last night, pause, on his stream. Not that we was talking over each other per se, but nobody was gonna complain about what was going on. Ad-libbing each other. These niggas is from New York City, like me and Stino is. This is what we do. You not used to this because you ain't really been in New York for real. You been in Midtown Manhattan. You been at the Garden, but you ain't been to the hoods of New York. You ain't been in the trenches for real. You ain't been in East New York. You ain't been in South Side. You ain't been in Shadyville. You ain't been in East Tremont. Or none of these places. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know. You're not accustomed to this. This is too hood for you, champ. This is too hood-esque for someone like you, champ. Yeah, you can't relate, but let's continue.
You talking to like
Right here, you need one person just to say, all right, hold on, let's start from the beginning. That's what Vlad does. Let's start from the beginning. Okay.
So Vlad is the standard? You glazing fire out this Russian guy. You're glazing fire out this Russian guy. You got friction in your neck. Your neck is getting friction. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, there's a lot of internal neck friction going on here. And I just gotta be honest. You are glazing Russian Frank. I said it, yeah. You got Vladimir Frank in your esophagus, gang. We gotta be real here, gang. Yeah, you tickling tonsil with Vladimir Frank. I'm just gonna keep it 100,000. This is crazy, bro. Since when is Vlad the standard? Why you keep mentioning Vlad? Tony Yayo ain't on Vlad. Tony Yayo is doing a podcast with Uncle Murda. Clearly this is different content. Why does it have to be similar? Why does it have to be similar? He go to Vlad for the Vlad stuff, and Yayo is doing something on his own venture with Uncle Murda. Why in the world do you keep talking about Vlad? This is why bozos need to keep quiet. You just seen him sip from that cup. So this doesn't even make logical sense. He's just in his head, alright, or subconsciously just eating at Vladimir's Frank. He's giving him a lower cleansing, if you will. Let's continue.
How did you end up on the plane with this? And this is important. It's important. Like you have to treat it like a story. It's not just you just kind of being on Instagram Live.
For me, I knew it wasn't going to
By
work.
the way, Cam does that beautifully. Cam does that amazingly. Cam is if you ask me, with all due respect, and I'm not trying to diss my guy here, so I hope he doesn't feel no way. Cam and Joe Budden, when it comes to podding, they're here. It's just like Cam is in the sport culture realm. Joe has a longer history in the hip-hop culture realm. But they both could do the same thing. Reset conversations, lead with topics, give a strong take, toss it to their co-host, get another person's take, interview. Cam is amazing at that. And again, I'm giving these critique, and I hope, I'm pretty sure they're going to send the worst clip to Yayo, so Yayo's going to diss me in the morning. But I hope y'all know I'm not saying bad things about him.
What you mean you ain't saying bad things about him? You trying to act like the pod ain't with it. You trying to downgrade the pod, bro. What you're doing is pushing the narrative as if the pod is bad, like it's failing. That's the type of narrative you pushing. That's why them G-Unit soldiers might push up on you, allegedly. Some people might push up on you because you think that you somebody that you not. If Fifth was to see this, Fifth will get mad. To some degree. Or, Fifth is just petty. Remember what happened to Joe Budden when he was speaking on things he shouldn't have been speaking on? Like, Fifth shouldn't have did what he did when Irv Gotti passed, right? telling him what he should have did when his aunt passed away. Well, guess what? You trying to damn play or push a narrative on Yayo and Murda podcast can lead to different types of repercussions. You dig what I'm saying? I'm just saying, for educational purposes, we just have to look back at history. You know what I'm saying? We gotta look back at history. Feel me? Hey, I don't know. Stop drinking, or somebody might get you sober in a physical way, if you know what I mean. But let's continue.
Really giving constructive criticism. Yayo is an amazing guest on Vlad. You got to figure out how to be amazing host on your own shit. But I think that until you get that lead voice, you need to have some other person in there. Okay? Anyway.
Work out when we sat, he sat right in front of us. I just knew it wasn't going to work out, man. Shout to Delta Airlines for keeping the peace.
As a lead mic...
Hold on. I want him to say this one more time. This bothered me a little bit.
Some other person in there. Okay?
Okay. Shut up. Like you the goddamn tutor and all that. Nigga act like he the tutor, like, this is what 1 + 1 means, Tony. Okay? Like, shut up, nigga. Like, you was an educator. Who was you? You know what I mean? Like you tutoring niggas on podcast 101. Shut up. Shut up. But you know what? Allegedly, somebody might make you keep quiet. Allegedly, champ. I'm just saying. I'm just predicting. This is all entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. Salute to YouTube. YouTube's an amazing platform. This is all entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not speaking anything but fiction here. You dig? Oh, champ. But, gang, how do y'all feel about this in the comments section? Is Ak going down a nasty path with this critique of Yayo and Murda's podcast? What's gonna happen next? Huh, champ? I don't know. To me personally, it looks like he might have to deal with some people after this, because this came off very, like I said, nose in the air type of energy. I'm gonna tutor you. I'm gonna tutor you. I'm gonna school you. Very pretentious. You know what I'm saying? The energy was just, yeah. Let me show you how it's done, champ. I don't like this. Like, nah, because then you pushing a narrative to the masses of people as if this podcast is just a failed laughing stock that just shouldn't be taken seriously. You dig? But hey, man, let me know how y'all feel in the comment section. Also, make sure you're smashing the like button, hitting that hype button, because it helps the channel in a major way. And also, make sure you subscribe to the man if you're brand new. Turn on that notification bell for updates on the man's live streams and uploads. But one more thing before we get all the way up out of here. You ready, gang? It's the man, the one and only Red New York Mayor F. Mom Donnie, and you're rocking with the town favorite Showface News. It's Big Gotham, and you already know it's the town versus everybody at all times. Hit the like button and the hype button. I'm up out of here, gang. Salute.